Today, the world celebrates World Green Energy Day. And we've seen that in Nigeria, we still have like a 70% gap in terms of awareness. What can we do to make that change?
Well, thanks again for having me. Nigeria is a developing country where information dissemination, is still quite slow. Of course, you know that the economic scenario in the country is also biting hard on the pockets of Nigerians. And so the adoption of renewable energy obviously will be a little bit slow, but like you said, it's growing faster and faster every day. The rural communities are also adopting renewable energy technologies in clean cooking and other forms of renewables like solar. And as a parliament, we're also developing policies and programs, especially something we call the communities green energy zones, where we hope to integrate and massively deploy renewable energy across all the federal constituencies across the country. So as a parliament, we are parliamentarians, we are closest to the people, and the work we do affects the lives of the people more directly across the rural areas in Nigeria. And so we are hopeful that once our program takes effect, the impacts of renewable energy will be felt at the grassroots. There'll be more adoption at the grassroots level, and more of our people can enjoy the benefits of renewable energy and, of course, clean energy in the rural areas.
But in terms of health impact, what would you say are the health impact of how much of this is affecting the health sector or the health of the residents of our country? Because, I mean, have petrol fumes or generator fumes. We've had new stories of families being wiped out by generator fumes and all of that, and the inhalation, the purity in the air as well.
Yes, well, the impact of dirty energy, if I will call it that, or the negative impact of fossil fuels is felt across the country in different ways. So it's not the same way it is felt in the Niger Delta, for example, like to be felt up north, where there's less industrial activity. But so down south, where there's high industrial activity, where there's a lot of drilling of crude oil, refining, and a lot of industrial activity, there's a lot of air pollution, which is causing a lot of lung diseases and cancers. There's a lot of pollution to water, so it's affecting the fishery industry across the country. But of course, up north, we're feeling the impact of these things through droughts, through desertification going on, cutting of trees for firewood, and all that is really affecting the lives of the people. It's causing heat waves up north, which is affecting especially the elderly people and the younger people, and of course also affecting our agriculture because of the poor, irregular rainfall patterns and things like that has led to even farmers having to adapt to the changing climate in Nigeria. So there's quite a bit of effect on everybody, whether you feel it or you realize it or not. We're all being affected by the greenhouse gas emissions from our cars, from the industries around us. And of course, we have been affected by the impact of these changes to our climate on the environment, on the agriculture, for farmers and food security in Nigeria.
Okay, Honorable, I know that Nigeria has a climate agency. We've been part of the COP and all of that. But in terms of adaptations, or I'm trying to find the right word here, in terms of climate adaptation project that Nigeria has done, some will say not really done much, as should be expected. But are there a few that have been done that are functional, and are we seeing any difference? Would they make any difference whatsoever?
Well, to put it very, very plainly, really, Nigeria has not done enough. Nigeria has not accessed the global climate funds that are available for climate adaptation projects in the country. We've not done a good job in packaging bankable projects that can quickly assess funding to be implemented. But that not being said, we have several projects that are ongoing that have impact on the climate, our adaptation projects like the Great Green Wall projects, planting trees across the country up north at the Sahel region to curb the desert encroachment and drought, which is ongoing. We have adaptation and renewable energy uptakes, a lot of programs ongoing in that regard. I know that the REA has done quite a bit in installing solar panels to take a lot of communities, a lot of industries and shopping centers and schools, institutions off grid, which has also helped the educational sector and, of course, the commercial sector in the country. So there's quite a bit going on. But to answer your question straight up, I think we've not done even nearly enough. Many other smaller African countries have accessed global funding in hundreds of millions of dollars. Nigeria has barely accessed any funds for climate adaptation projects. And unfortunately, as a country, we've also not budgeted enough for the environment and for climate adaptation projects. In the last year's budget, the environmental sector got less than 10% of releases for projects. The ecological fund is also not being funded properly anymore. So there's not really a lot of climate adaptation projects executed in the last year's fiscal year. But the private sector, development partners, institutes, and of course, the National Council on Climate Change is doing quite a lot in capacity building to help people individually and businesses adapt to the new realities of climate and the realities of the impact on everybody.
All right. So we thank you so much, Honorable Terseer Ugbor. I honestly will look for, I'm sure we'll find opportunities to bring you into the studio so that we can have this conversation the more. Let's see how we can help to educate the nation and indeed its citizens about what needs to be done, the more that needs to be done as regards clean energy in Nigeria in particular. Thank you so much. Honorable Terseer Ugbor is a member, House of Representatives, representing Kwande Ushongo constituency. He's a politician, environmental strategist, and education critic. So he wears many caps. And of course, we'll be drawing on those caps as often as we can. Thank you once again for coming in this evening.